Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today we're going to be doing some gambling in the taverns of the Dungeons & Dragons universe in this card game, Three Dragon Ante, the Legendary Edition. This is a reprint and a bit of a reworking of a game that came out in the mid-2000s called Three Dragon Ante, which is this game right here. I happen to have a copy of it. This is my copy of that game, the original printing, and it even had a sequel of sorts. Here, Three Dragon Ante, Emperor's Gambit, and I've got both of these. So you should know already that yes, I like this game, and I've kept both of these. Now, this new edition repackages everything that was in this original one and a few of the cards from that Emperor's Gambit, and it reworks some of them. So some of the powers on the cards are new. They've been, updated a bit. This one also includes components that were not in the original, such as coins that you needed to provide, poker chips or something. Well, now you've got coins in here, cardboard coins in here. And so I was very interested in this when I first heard about it, but does it hold up to the original one? Is there a reason for this to exist besides just a straight reprint? And do I enjoy this better? Basically here, am I going to get rid of this and hang on to just this? Well, before I answer that question, let's go ahead and go to the table. Let me show you how the game works, and then I will see you on the other side. To set up the game, each player is going to be dealt 6 cards from the shuffle deck, and then everybody gets a starting pool of gold here equal to the number of players times 10. So right now, each of us has 30 for a 3-player game, and we are ready to begin. The game is going to be played until someone is completely out of gold, and at that point, whoever has the most at the table is going to be the winner. And you'll be doing that by playing successive gambits, as the game calls it. And those gambits are made up of 3 rounds at least. So, to begin a gambit, each player is going to take a look at their hand of cards, and they're going to add 1 card face down to the table to set it up in the ante. So we have to ante up a card. That's the very first thing. So everybody's going to throw 1 in, and they are going to reveal those cards once everybody has put 1 in. So we reveal these. This player played that, this player played that one, and I played this one. And whoever played the highest card, that's how much gold goes into the pot in the center of the table. So everybody puts in 4. So I'll put in 4. These are 1s and these are 10s in the game. So everybody's adding in 4 to the center of the table. And then these cards are going to stay as part of the ante up. So they're part of the center of the table there. All right. And then whoever played the highest card is going to begin the first round of the gambit. And they're going to pick a card from their hand, and they're going to play that card. The first card played in a round, again, these are not part of it. These are just out here in the middle. The first card played in the round is going to trigger its effect, no matter what the value is. So this one, for example, the gold dragons all are going to say, draw a card for each good dragon in your flight. And so the dragons are going to say whether they are good or evil. The gold dragons happen to be good. So this player plays that, the power triggers, they draw a card and add it to their hand, and it'll be the next player's go. Now the way this works, it's actually me, we're playing this way. The way it goes is the card you play after someone else has played will only trigger its effect if the value of the card is the same or lower. Otherwise, it will not trigger. So I am going to play this bronze dragon here to begin my flight, as it's called, which is the cards I'm playing face up in front of me. It's an 11, which is lower than the 13, so it will trigger. And the bronze dragon says, put the 2 weakest ante cards into your hand. Great. The 2 weakest cards would be these. So I'm stealing these from the center and adding them to my hand. You do have a hand limit of 10 cards, but you're probably not going to run into that issue. And the next player would go. And the next player here is going to play, they'll do, let's see, this one here. They'll play their own bronze dragon. It's a 9, so it will trigger after the 11. You only need to check the last card played. And that one says put the 2 weakest ante cards into your hand. All the bronze dragons will have the same power. There's only one left, so they'll take that one into their hand. and that is the first round. Now, we take a look at who played the highest card in that round, and they begin the second round of the gambit. This player did, and so they will play a card, and no matter its strength, it will trigger. So they're going to play this card here, a 5 brass dragon. And the brass dragon says the opponent to your right chooses to either give you a stronger good dragon from their hand, or they pay you 5 gold. So this is the players to their right. They take a look at their hand. They go, oh, I don't know about this. So they would like to keep their card, so they're going to give them the 5 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just give it to that player. They go away. And the next player will play. So it'll be me. I am going to play this 6 dragon here, which is higher than the 5. So the power on it does not trigger. Now it's still 6 towards the strength I am displaying. And at the end of 3 of these rounds, whoever has the highest strength is going to win the pot in the center. So I've played that, and then this opponent will play, and again, they have to play off of a 6 here. So if they want to play lower than that, or at the same value, they'll get the special effect. But they're not going to. They're going to play an 8, and that will not trigger. And that's the end of the second round. Whoever played the highest card, which was this 8 here, leads the next round. And they are going to play a white dragon here, a 4. That's an evil dragon. It says the weakest opponent pays you 2 gold. So the weakest opponent at the table right now, this player has 18. I have 17 is me. I have to give them 2 gold. Then that player will play, and they are going to play a, let's see, they're going to play this card. It does not trigger. And then I am last, and it's looking like I am not going to win, so I am not going to worry about that. Instead, I'm going to play this fantastic gold dragon card that says draw a card for each good dragon in your flight. That's great. All of these are good dragons. So I am raking in the cards. I draw 3 cards. The gambit is over unless there was a tie at the top, and then we would play another round, but there is not. This player over here has 25. This player over here has 21, it looks like, and I have less than that. It's 12, yes, 21. And so this player is going to win. They take the pot. They put that in their hoard there. We clean up the cards on the table. Everybody draws 2 cards at the end of a gambit. And we play another one with anteing up, and then 3 rounds of card play making up a gambit. Now, sometimes you are going to get a couple of special abilities that are going to happen if you have either a strength flight, meaning 3 9s, for example, or whatever, 3 of one thing, 999, that'll do it, or a color flight, which could be 3 green dragons, green, green, green. That's a color flight. And what happens is explained on the player aids that you have right here. So you're going to have this double-sided player aid. It'll tell you what's going on. But if you play a color flight, which is 3 of the same color or 3 mortals, these purple cards here are mortals, and they have their own unique abilities. So if you do that, then the middle value, so it's a 3, a 7, and a 9 in some color, then you are going to, the middle dragon or the middle strength is 7. So in that case, each other player would pay you 7 coins. That's great. And then if you do a strength flight, so say 777, then you are going to steal gold from the stakes equal to the strength, 7. And you're also going to take 2 ante cards and add them to your hand, whichever 2 you want that are still in the middle of the table. So there you go. Those are the special abilities of a flight and a strength flight and a color flight. So that's basically it. Like I said, that continues. There's a couple of other things. A main one I want to finish off with is managing your cards and being forced to buy cards. That would be bad. Now, most of the good dragons in the game keep you flush with cards, and a lot of the bad dragons are going to force the opponents to pay you sometimes or steal money outright from the pot, things like that. But sometimes you will find yourself with few cards in hands. So let's say this opponent just played a card and they stole one of them from my hand. I only have 2. They take that and it's my turn to play. If you begin your turn to play with a single card, or if you find yourself with no cards at all at any point in the game, you must buy cards. This is bad. You are going to flip over the top card from the deck into a discard. You are going to see the number. In this case, I got extremely lucky. It's a 1. You pay that much to the pot, and you draw up to 4. So I bring myself back up to 4. Now with a 1, that's fantastic. If I flip over, let's see, there are 13s in here. If I flip over a 13, suddenly I got to put in there 13 coins just to draw back up to 4. So it's something you definitely want to avoid, if at all possible, being forced to draw cards. But you are playing 3 and drawing 2, so unless you are earning cards some other way, it will happen. Now, one final thing I want to mention about this special edition here of the game is that it comes with extra cards you're not going to use in every session of play. The game comes with a base set of cards and then 30 special cards. And from those 30, every time you play, you're going to shuffle those 30 up or pick them, and then take 10 out of there and shuffle them into the main deck you're actually playing. You can look at them beforehand. You can let them surprise you as they come up, however you want to. But these are all going to be special, extra special cards, basically. There are suited ones. So the green schemer would be a special green dragon, and you'll have things like the white hunter is a special white dragon, red destroyer, things like that. They'll have similar powers to the regular red dragons, but souped up. And then there are also the mortals here. The mortals are going to have unique powers that they trigger and ideally trigger, and they give you quite a boost. So I'll just go over a couple of them here just to see what kind of things you can expect to see. So for example, the red destroyer here is, let's take a look at a regular red one, just for the sake of the comparison. So the red dragon normally says, the opponent with the strongest flight pays you 1 gold. Take a random card from that player's hand. The red destroyer says, the opponent with the strongest flight pays you 10 gold. Take a random card from that player's hand, right? So things like that. They're going to be a little bit beefier. There are also, like I said, the mortals. So for example, the Dragon Rider here, which is a brand new card, not featured in any of the previous printings. When this gambit is scored, the strength of this card equals the strength of the weakest dragon in your flight, not this card's printed strength. The Sorcerer, reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, discard this card and replace it with one of the revealed cards. That card's power triggers, put the other 2 revealed cards into the ante. We've got the Merchant's Prince. Until the end of this gambit, any gold players would put into the stakes to buy new cards goes to you instead of into the stakes. So all sorts of interesting abilities there, and you won't use them all in every game because you're only taking 10 out of 30 cards. So there you go. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the cadence of the game, some of the powers you're going to see, and just a general feel for how this all plays out. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me give you some final thoughts. All right, so that is the Legendary Edition of 3 Dragon Ante here. So let's answer that question first. What do I think of it? Is it a game that is likely to replace my original printing? You know what? I think so, because I like the way that they have modernized some of the powers in the box here, and it pretty much replaces this one at the very least, though I think I will be holding on to Emperor's Gambit because there's a lot of content in this one that's simply not in the new box. And that's okay. This did not need to be both of them combined. It's really a reprinting of just this with a sprinkling of new stuff. Some of it, yes, taken from here. But that's all right. This is a great product. It's a really neat game, and it's one that you don't even need to be very familiar with D&D or familiar at all, I'll say that, to enjoy this. In fact, I'm not. I enjoyed the original game in spite of not really being into Dungeons and Dragons. It's a great card game on its own. So let's break it down a little bit more here, okay? There's only one niggling issue I have with this, which is the game length. This can drag out sometimes. There are ways for you to adjust that game length. And in fact, in the original rule book, the first printing, they did say, one of the ways you can play this is set a number of rounds. number of gambits, right? Play this many gambits and then you're done. Whoever has the most money wins. I couldn't find that in the new one. I just gave it a cursory glance just now. I don't think it's in there. But you can do that, you know. So it's possible it outstays its welcome a little bit, but it's much like poker or something else. It could just go on because nobody runs out of money, right? So, but that's not a big deal. Everything else I do enjoy quite a bit. The theme here and the thematic ties and the setting are cool. And they're not even for me. But I like that it's a neat concept of an in-world game that exists in that world if you wanted to, or just in our world, right? You can ignore the D&D stuff, and it's fine. It works just as well. So I enjoy that. And there's also content in the box, though I didn't show you this, that you can use to bring this game into a D&D campaign that you're running, if you want to. The aesthetics are great. The artwork in the original one carries over to this, a lot of it anyway, and it just looks good. But the card quality now is much better than the original printing, and I'm a big fan of it. I love the way these cards look. Now, a couple of issues there. Yes, the coins are a little bit hard to fit back in the box. There's a bunch of them, so the lid is sort of hard to close back down on the box, especially if you bag the coins. And then I also thought that the 9 and the 6 should have been a little more distinct. The font is fine, the font usage, but they should have gone with something that makes them really easy to tell apart at a glance on the table. As it is, sometimes there's a little confusion there. Not a big deal. Replayability is good. I like that they give you 30 special cards in this, and from those 30, you will use 10 every time. The 10 you use can be the ones to replicate exactly what came in this box, or the other 20 cards. Or you can shuffle them up and take 10 random and not even look at them. Shuffle them in, they show up and they show up. That's fun. You know, they give you different ways to play in the rulebook. And suggested setups also. Use these 10, use those 10. So I like that. The game length, as I said, can drag out a little bit. Ease of play. I think it's fairly easy to understand. It's a bit of a tone beast, and it's a little tricky, but it's fairly easy to understand. And then they give you player aids that do a good job of assisting the players, reminding you of a couple of things that are easy to forget. And lastly, tactics and strategy and luck. Yes, the game has luck, of course. It's kind of it's a card game for one thing, but it also has this gambling thing where surprises could turn up. But it nails the feeling of a gambling game, a fantasy gambling game. And it does not feel like poker. And that's what impresses me the most about the tactics and the luck and the way those things come together. This game nails that feeling of what it is intending to do, to represent, to put you in the shoes of, right? And I find it to be completely seamless when it comes to that. It is such a good game at bringing friends together to sit down, to gamble, to talk trash back and forth a little bit, and get the vibe of what's going on just right. So I'm very happy with it. I think this is a great product. I'm so glad that this is available again, both for those of us who knew the original one and we're always hoping for a better quality one, maybe with some updates, or just for folks that have never played the original one. So here's my bottom line. Still a clever design that feels completely its own, now complemented by a wonderful production quality. This is going to get an 8.5 out of 10 from me, and I am recommending it. It's a great card game. It's neat. If you don't like D&D, that's okay. If you do like D&D, I think you're going to enjoy this, and I guess I'm going to have to let this little guy go. So I'm happy to replace it, though, because this is a wonderful addition of a really neat concept from some time ago. So there you go. That's going to be it, everybody. Thanks for checking this out with me. I am Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.